When it comes to compassionate care, this morning's guest has the answers. Who is she? You'll meet her coming up next on All American People. Good morning. Welcome to All American People. This morning we're at the Holiday Cottage at Brook Green Gardens, one of the South's most amazing destinations. We're focused on hospice care, and we're visiting with Carole Bowdre of Compassionate Care Hospice. Good morning, Carole.
Good morning, Greg. My pleasure to be here with you
What
this morning.
a thrill to get you in. And what about this Holiday Cottage?
I love it. I love it. I have been here before, but it's great. I've never toured the entire. A lot of weddings they have here. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I hear about 40 a year, and as you said,
See
right behind me.
See Russell's portrait right above us.
Viewers
That's a great
can't
portrait.
see that, I don't think, but it is a beautiful portrait. And the fireplace here, just day in and day out, Brook Green Gardens continues to amaze so many people.
Oh, we're so proud to have it here in Horry County.
It is
is it
a real jewel. We're in Georgetown County now, but it feels like, you know, I mean, it's so close, right on the county line, and you're down here all the time. And of course, you're spending a lot of time traveling recently. Horry, Georgetown, I believe you shared with us earlier this morning. We're talking about compassionate care. Share with viewers exactly the service area y'all are covering now.
Actually, we're licensed in the entire state of South Carolina.
Great.
And we just got our license in October.
Congratulations.
October 2010. So we're brand new in the area, but we serve 20 states.
Wow.
But our office here is on Oak Street in Myrtle Beach, and we serve Horry, Georgetown, Marion, and Williamsburg counties.
Okay.
So it kind of all blends together. I'm back and forth running up and down the road to all of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not a surprise for you, Carole. You've been doing that for years.
No, I have. I've got many years of hospice experience, 15 plus.
Is that right?
And we have a great staff at our office here. We've got 60 plus years of hospice experience between us.
Is that right? What originally got you interested in hospice care, Carole?
Oh, I'm a real advocate. Actually, my mother was on hospice. I think it's a wonderful organization. I'm very passionate. I hope it shows because I think it's the greatest organization. I hope we never need hospice care, but we're glad it's available. It helps the families as much as the patient.
Absolutely. Well, go ahead and share, just so, I haven't heard a lot about Compassionate Care Hospice. Give viewers a sense.
We're brand new, as I mentioned, Greg, in Horry County. We were licensed in October 2010, but we serve 20 states. Our CEO and founder, Milt Hetching, who is originally from Chicago, his family member was on hospice. He's an attorney, a tax attorney, and had a family member receiving hospice care, and he was so impressed with the philosophy and the services, he wanted to give back and start a hospice in other areas that did not have the service. He started Compassionate Care Hospice in Pennsylvania in 1992, and our home office is in West Hampton, New Jersey. Today, we are in 20 states. We just moved into the South. We're in Georgia, South Carolina, Texas. In fact, I visited our Texas office in Houston. We have several offices out there, but our Houston office alone has 450 patients.
Is that right?
Huge,
wow.
A huge office, and have a great veterans program out there. They have a veterans inpatient facility that the entire staff are veterans, and they serve veterans. Even homeless veterans are patients there, and those that are suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, not just terminally ill patients. The company built this facility and brought them in. And when I left there, I was teary-eyed. It was so heartwarming to know that the company, they were taking care of our veterans that have served us.
Yes. Is the Veterans Care Program going to be available here?
It will be. It will be. Like I said, we're just getting started, and Compassionate Care Hospice has a lot of services that we will be pursuing here. And since we are national backing, we can offer some services that some of the other hospices do not.
there are more than a couple of hospice providers in this area?
Oh, yeah, it's become very competitive, but they don't offer, all hospices basically have the same philosophy, but offer different services. And like I said, we have the national backing. We have an end-stage cardiac program. We have an end-stage renal program.
Wow.
We will be offering that veterans program. Most of our offices across the country have a pediatric hospice.
Really?
Right.
That's critical.
And it is critical, but we do not have that at this point. Maybe one day we will. It's hard to staff, as you can imagine, and hard to get started. But we have a First Night at Home program. That's a wonderful program, Greg.
Share with viewers about the First Night at Home program.
Okay. When a family is leaving the hospital and they just found out their loved one is terminal, they sometimes all stressed, chaos, they don't know which way to turn, what to do. We offer to spend the first night at home with that family to help them adjust. We'll have a nurse in there or CNA as well, and help that family adjust to what they're looking at and what the future will bring, and just assess what the needs are.
That is tremendous. There are so many spiritual, social, economic issues that the family or any family is taking in, and that patient in particular, that loved one. I mean, they're dealing with so many items at that time. I suspect it's a very frail time for everybody.
It is a very frail time. In fact, I have seen so many families that have never been associated with death. And all of a sudden, they have this loved one that they're taking care of that may live 6 months, 8 months, 2 weeks. I mean, nobody knows. In which that brings us to the criteria of hospice.
Yes, please. I think that's a question that a lot of folks ask or want to know.
Right.
What is the criteria for receiving hospice care?
That's part of my job, is out there educating the community as far as the criteria. You have to be diagnosed with a terminal illness.
Okay.
And they say 6 months or less to live, but you know, that's hard to determine. We have to have a signed order from a primary physician. If they do not have a primary physician, we can use one of our physicians. Terminal illness, probably 75% of nationwide, the terminal hospice patients are cancer patients. But,
is that right?
But any terminal illness, like I mentioned, the end-stage cardiac, end-stage renal, AIDS, ALS, dementia, even failure to thrive. If sometimes we get a patient that just gave up, maybe lost a spouse, an elderly patient lost a spouse, and just gave up and quit eating, and they just, all of a sudden we go in there and they're eating, they're getting that tender loving care, they're getting attention, they're having visitors, and sometimes they get better when they're on that particular diagnosis, failure to thrive. And we release them, which is a good thing. We celebrate then, that's a great thing.
That is. Would that be a common, that would be a less common aspect, the opportunity of being released?
That is less common, but it happens.
It does happen, good.
And we're thrilled when that does happen.
Yes. Well, of course, that one of the big aspects that a lot of folks think about is, can I pay for it? Can I afford hospice care?
Hospice care is absolutely free.
Oh, come on.
Free. I mean, it's paid for by Medicare, Medicaid, and most private insurance policies have a Medicare benefit. This includes, Greg, not only the care and the services, the equipment, the medications affiliated with the diagnosis, everything. That's what people don't understand, and the hospice care helps that family as much as the patient.
Yes.
In fact, I've had so many families tell me once that their loved one passed on, I wish we'd have had you sooner. I wish we'd have had you sooner. And we follow that family up to 12, 13 months after the death of the patient for bereavement services.
Is it principally through referrals, through doctors calling and saying this is a patient that we recognize with a terminal illness, or can a family member call?
A family member can call, a neighbor can call, clergy, anyone can refer. We just have to have that signed order from the physician.
So that's why you mentioned earlier that one of your own physicians can help recognize or sign that order if a family member or a clergy has referred, then you will need to get that signed off.
Right.
Okay.
Well, normally we'll contact the primary physician.
Right.
And if they do not have one and they are hospice appropriate, which we will determine by visiting, one of our medical directors can sign the care plan and the referral.
That's tremendous. Speaking of medical directors, do you have a local medical director?
Actually, Greg, we have three.
Three?
We have three wonderful medical directors.
Wow.
Dr. John Bornfriend, who's in Surfside Saybrook Family Medicine, is our medical director. Dr. Duclos, Marty Duclos, who is at Conway Medical Center in the palliative care unit.
Oh, great, with Dr.
Dr.
Sasser.
Sasser, right.
Mm-hmm.
And also we have Dr. Poe up in Loris, and he's affiliated with Southern Medical Associates and Loris Hospital.
That is tremendous.
We have three wonderful physicians.
Even with just having gotten your South Carolina licensure and opening up the office in October 2010, you have quickly ramped up three tremendous professionals, three medical directors.
We are very proud of our medical directors. They are wonderful. And mentioning our office here, we're also opening one in Columbia.
Oh, great.
Right now, it's already open, and they are taking patients. We will open an office in Greenville and Charleston next. But Horry County was #1. Well, this was the first new start in South Carolina.
That is tremendous.
And we have been very well received, and I'm just so appreciative that everyone has received us so well, and we have such a wonderful national reputation. I invite everybody to go on our website.
Yes, please give us that web address.
It's cchnet.net.
Okay.
Joe Biden, our vice president, we took care of his mother in Delaware in his home. And he's on there doing a testimonial. In fact, he donated a room in our facility. We have an inpatient facility in Delaware, and they donated a room in memory of his mother.
That's tremendous. cchnet.net. That's fascinating. And if a viewer doesn't have internet access, Carole, a lot of viewers obviously here and throughout the PD and otherwise may not have internet access. Is there a good phone number they could call?
Right. Our local phone number is 843-448-7107.
Okay.
Again, 843-448-7107.
That's tremendous. Well, of course, picking up the phone and making that call, even if you're on the bubble and don't know if your family member may have a terminal illness but suspect that something's there, just picking up the phone to call, as you said, someone can get out there, or as you said, a primary care physician can...
And if a family has a loved one that has a terminal illness and they need help, I mean, we are tremendous help. We are in a interdisciplinary team. We have volunteers that are willing to help. We have the physician. We have RNs. We have CNAs. We have chaplains. We have social workers. And that's another... Now, I'm glad we mentioned that. Our CNAs, that's another plus that Compassionate Care Hospice has. That's one thing I do not know of another hospice that provides 2-hour visits for that CNA. Our company requires them to stay for 2 hours.
Really?
Which is phenomenal. I mean, the company realizes how much that CNA can do to help that family and that patient. So they require them to stay 2 hours per visit and up to 7 days a week if the care plan calls for it.
Is that right? Now, how many folks normally make up the team of people arriving to serve a particular family?
Well, they don't all arrive, of course, at the same time.
Right.
Normally our nurses go out twice a week.
Okay.
And our CNAs 5 days a week if necessary.
Right.
And our social workers, whenever necessary, they go immediately, of course, and evaluate the situation and to see if they have funeral plans and that sort of thing, and if they need any help, financial help and so forth. But we do not turn anyone down. If they do not have the Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance, we have a foundation, a nonprofit foundation that steps in and we do not turn anybody away.